Hey, gun people. Well, this Rayshard Brooks out going to work, peacefully trying to make a living. The cops just shot him. That was a report from CNN. Pretty much, I summed it up. Let's take a look at a little facts about this case here. Of course, CNN only wants you to concentrate on black man, white cop. Hang on, we got pictures of the cops here. There's the mean evil. Uh-oh. Ooh. Okay, so these cops follow the law. They didn't do anything wrong. They did what cops have been doing for the last 10, 15 years. They followed the use of force. There is no way they're going to get convicted for this shooting. But it makes for good reporting, and it pushes the Black Lives Matter issue, and it makes white cops look racist, and it gets Democrat votes in an election year. CNN says this situation, well, they're quoting the NAACP. I didn't think we could say colored people, but the NAACP is, I think, for colored people. Rick, you can't say that. I'm just saying that's what they named it. The tragic situation. The former president of the NAACP. This video, this police homicide, occurs in the wake, and then we name all the names of the prior criminals who were killed by the police when they were killed resisting arrest and fighting with the cops and committing crimes. Ahmaud Arbery. What was that? I can't remember how they said. Phil Castillo? I thought it was Castillo, but it looks like Castile. George Floyd. Tamir Rice. I don't know who this one is. Taylor. And so many others. So we've reached a point where people have simply experienced enough. Look, I got no problem when cops are being brutal and using unjustified force, and I'm one of the first to call them out. But this, by law, was absolutely justified 100%. Rick, you can't say that a white officer killed a black man no matter what he does. I mean, it's just crazy. By nightfall, the fast food eatery, is that how CNN talks now? It's not a fast food restaurant. It's not. It's a fast food eatery. Was engulfed in flames. Now that makes perfect sense, right? A business out there serving the community food, employing people in the community, because the cops shot somebody that you didn't agree with because you're wrong and you don't know the law. You decide to burn down the business that had nothing to do with the shooting. Well, actually, they did have something. They called the police. So I guess they deserve to have their building burnt down. So how did this happen? Police responded to a call Friday night after a man, this is the way CNN, I mean, they're just freaking so fake lying news, responded to a man sleeping in a parked car in the restaurant's drive-thru. I thought it was an eatery. Now it's a restaurant. In the drive-thru. So let me ask you something, people. Who thinks that's normal to take a nap in your car in a drive-thru lane? You think the people behind you might be a little upset? You think the restaurant might be upset because they can't do business? Should they have gone out there and knocked on the door and not called the police? I mean, they pay taxes. We're told we have cops. You call the police. Somebody's blocking your business. You don't go out and handle it, because if you handle it yourself, you'll be charged for taking the law in your own hands. So you call the cops, and now your business gets burnt down. Man, isn't that just great? I mean, when you're dealing with such rational Black Lives Matter, I mean, it's just crazy. Okay, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Here we go, Georgia. Weren't they the same ones that did the crappy case on the Aubrey case? Didn't take the stick, didn't fingerprint the car, didn't fingerprint the gun, but they're convinced it was murder? Really? When they arrived, police gave Brooks a sobriety test. Why did they do that, Rick? Well, because normally people don't sleep in the drive-thru. If somebody falls asleep in the drive-thru, they're normally under the influence. I've probably responded to maybe, I don't know, I'm going to say 5, maybe at the high end 10 calls of people sleeping in the drive-thru, and every freaking one of them was drunk. Okay? It doesn't say what time this happened, but I'm assuming it's around midnight to 3 or 4 in the morning when the bars close, because that's usually when this happens. So a guy gets drunk, he goes to get something to eat because he's hungry, and he falls asleep in a drive-thru because he shouldn't be driving. And then they call the cops, and then we arrest him for drunk driving. I mean, that's normally the way it goes. Unless they fight and take your taser, which happened in this case. But I digress. Let's get back to CNN reporting on the truth. He resisted arrest. Oh. Struggled with officers. Struggled. Does that mean he punched, kicked, and fought with them? Does that... He struggled with officers and grabbed a taser. Oh. He disarmed the police. This is case law when... And I'm not saying I agree with it, people. I'm telling you the law. And actually, I kind of agree that the law is pretty clear and people are found innocent of this all the time. If you grab an officer's bat tools, his taser or baton, or any striking instrument, even if you grab his radio and try to hit him in the temple with it, that's considered arming yourself, and you're attempting serious bodily injury and or death, and the officer can shoot you. Clearly, case law has proven this over and over again. If you grab a taser because you're not trained, and you can hurt somebody, you can disable the cop, you can take his gun, and you can kill him. Now, I think cops shoot people too damn easy. And just because a guy has a taser, I think unless you're alone, you shouldn't be able to shoot. But that's not the law. Doesn't matter what I think or you think. The law says if you disarm an officer with a weapon that can be used against him, you're going to get shot. And deadly force is authorized and the cop's going to be justified. This is a justified shooting per the law. Now, morally, and the way it looks, it stinks. But, all right, here we go. So he grabbed a taser, a video from a witness captured the struggle. The video shot from a cell phone shows a scuffle between the two officers. Well, it shows part of the scuffle. They cut out a lot of the video because they don't want the poor, innocent guy taking a nap, minding his own business in a drive-thru in his car to look like he was a brutal fighting maniac that was under the influence. Brooks eventually seems to break free. He doesn't seem to break free. He did break free. He grabbed the taser and ran off. That's when they shot him. And starts running away. Oh, he was running away because he was in fear. Poor guy. He left his car in a drive-thru. He fought with the cops. And he fought with them enough to disarm them and take their taser, which means the taser was probably either ineffective or they didn't get to deploy it. And then he ran off with their taser. I'm sure he was going to turn it in at the first police station he passed by to say, you know what, hey, I found this taser on the road. I just want to turn it back because I'm a good citizen. Yeah, I'm sure that's the way it was going to happen. Surveillance video provided by GBI shows him running from the office and it appears. It doesn't appear. He points that freaking taser at the cop. It appears to point the stun gun in the direction. See, he doesn't point it at the cop. He points it, it appears, in their direction. CNN is such a lying fake news. I mean, it's just freaking outrageous how many people can be fooled by their lying-ass fake reporting. All right. He was shot and taken to the hospital where he died. All right, let's look at the video. Okay, so it looks like this happened at 23:22. For you non-military, that's 11:22 p.m. So it happened at 11:30 at night. Okay, almost midnight. Bars closed. Couldn't get laid. Got kicked out of a bar. Whatever. He came out. Rick, you can't say that about him. He was a great guy and he shot. All right, whatever. So, cops pull him over. We're going to see him running. All this is faded out so we can see him. I don't know if that's a deployment taser or if he's tased him. It's hard to tell. Cops running. Remember, he has a taser. He's already fought with them and he's stolen. And let me give you people who aren't familiar with the law. When you steal something from someone, it's not theft. Okay, if you walk into the store and you take a candy bar off the shelf and you walk out, that's theft. You didn't use force or fear. You didn't take it from somebody's person. You didn't fight them. When you fight somebody and take property from them, that's called robbery. It's called strong arm robbery because you used strong arm, strength, and you overpowered them and you stole things from their property. That's a higher felony because the likelihood of violence is much greater. So you go to prison longer for robbery than you do for theft. So you see the difference? Taking a candy bar, no chance of fighting, no physical resistance. You didn't pull a weapon. You just took it and walked out the store. Theft. taking a taser from a police officer when he's trying to take you into custody when you're fighting because you're taking a nap in a drive-thru in your car. And you fight him and you disarm him and then you run off with that property. That's robbery. That's a felony. This is what we call, for the little classroom, you people that graduated from the Walmart School of Law, this is what we call fleeing felon. He's a fleeing violent felon because he used violence to take the taser. He stole property in the commission of that violence, and now he is fleeing with the stolen property. So deadly force is authorized right here. This cop could shoot him in the back right now by the law and be justified. Rick, you can't say that cops are killing me. You're just protecting them because you were a cop. I'm just telling you what the law is, people. Legally, this cop could shoot him right now in the back. But it gets better. He turns. Almost like he fires. Right there, I think he fires the taser. So an officer is chasing a guy and it turns around, he holds something like a gun, and this can be proven over and over. This is a high risk, rapidly evolving, high tense situation, fight or flight. Both people are jacked up, highly emotional, highly focused on the threat, and you see a guy running with what looks like a gun, he turns around and fires it. Well, Rick, it was his taser and he knew he had a taser. Okay, let's say it is a taser. He still fired it. It still went pow. It sounded like a gun. Remember I told that crazy cop story? Me and my partner shaking a dude. He fought with us. He got away, so we're both running after him. I have my gun out because we don't know if he's armed. He was some little gang member punk. And we're chasing, screaming, get on the ground or I'll shoot you, even though I couldn't shoot him. I was yelling I was going to shoot you. And my partner, I didn't know, pulled out taser and fired taser. And I went, holy shit, Joe, don't shoot him. He goes, it was a taser. So we start arguing while we're chasing a guy because I think he shot him and he's trying to tell me he used a taser. Of course, the taser was ineffective. We ended up tackling the guy and fighting him. But still, when I was a cop and I'm standing next to him, when he fired his taser, it sounded like a gun to me. So it would be very easy to get somebody to say, when a taser is fired, does it sound like a gun? Does it make a loud pop? Yeah, guess what? The pop's louder when it's pointed at you. So this guy turns, fires the taser, and he's shot. And they stop it. And then I think they jump to where he's laying on the ground. Okay, and they shot him. So, who thinks this shooting is white cop just went out hunting for black people to shoot him in the middle of the night in order to start a riot in the middle of a riot and get him Wendy's burnt down? Raise your hand if you think that's what happened. Mean white cop went to work. You know what? I'm going to go shoot some guy for no reason, just for shits and giggles. I'm white, and you know what? I'm going to shoot a black guy. Who thinks that really happened? I mean, that's just freaking crazy. These cops were called here to handle a dude sleeping, obstructing, stopping a business. He was drunk driving. He failed the sobriety test. They tried to take him into custody. He fought with them. He disarmed them. He stole their property, and he ran off. He turned and fired a taser. And CNN reported, well, he did run off with a taser, and it appeared he may have pointed it in their direction. Are you freaking kidding me? Look, people, this is a justified shooting. I know you don't like it. Hell, I don't even like it. Because I think cops are shooting people too easy. Would I have shot the guy? I would say probably not. But you're not going to find a lot of cops that are going to say that. One, because they don't want to go against the blue line. Two, it's a justified shooting. And any cop is justified to shoot. And most cops don't like second guessing a guy that you're not standing in their shoes. The public does a good job of that. The administration does that. Other cops, the media, lawyers, defense attorney, judges. They all do a great job at second guessing the cop. Cops tend to see, you know what? Shit happens quick. I'm not going to second guess the guy. So, I'm sorry. I know this ain't going to be popular. This is a freaking justified shooting. Even though morally, I don't think it should have happened. And again, once he fired the taser and he didn't hit the cop, and if I was a defense attorney, that would be my argument. Isn't it true that a taser is only fired once and you can't do it unless you reload and have extra cartridge? Yes. Do you have reason to believe he had extra charge? No. So once he fired it and he didn't hit you, do you really think he could have shot you again? Well, you know, if I tackled him, he could have dry tased me and he doesn't need to be loaded and it would have shocked me. And so you had two officers and you guys didn't think you could take your taser back? Well, per the law, he was armed with our weapon and we were authorized to shoot. And that pretty much ends it. I mean, the law is clear on this. And I know people want me to come here and go, these cops are out of control. They shot a black man and this is bullshit. We should burn down freaking Wendy's. Not this time, guys. This is a clearly justified, by law, legal shooting. And they've already fired the cop, and the police chief stepped down. And I'm like, damn, that's a weak-ass police chief. She's a woman. Not that that matters, because we're all equal. But she just, as soon as it happened, she goes, you know, I'm out of here. I'm done with this shit. So she stepped down. And, of course, she went out like, oh, it's these white police officers that are out of control. I can't control them. I'm just stepping down. I know it's wrong. It's my responsibility, and I should step down. You ran like the coward you are. But, Rick, she was promoted police chief. She must be great. Well, that's because you're an idiot. All right. Well, we'll end that there. I think this is a great shoot. Well, I don't think it's a great shoot. I think it's great legally, and it's going to be very easy to defend. This is an absolute justified shoot. There is no way they are putting this case in a jury. If any cop takes a plea deal on this case, he's a damn fool. I don't care what they do. I don't even know if I'd go for a jury trial on this one. I think I would just go for a judge and go, you know what? This is clearly justified. There's 1,000 cases where this has been justified. Legally, lawfully. This is a good shoot. When I say good, meaning lawful and legal, this cop should not be fired, and he shouldn't go to jail. Sorry. I know all the cop haters. I'm subscribing. You're always taking the cop side. You just love the blue. Whatever. Okay, so the body cam footage of this came out afterwards. I'm going to make this a part 2. So click on the part 2, and I'll go over the actual body cam footage. My position doesn't change a whole bunch. It changes a little. Couple new factors. A lot of things going on. It may be a long video, but I'll make a part 2.